From the get-go, when someone said floating floors, I said, this is the worst idea ever.
So a couple other things that you had mentioned as we prepped for our call today. You had mentioned moisture. So I'm interested that obviously everybody's dealing with a lot of luxury vinyl products these days.
Yes.
They're supposedly 100% waterproof, but like anything, there are issues that can be caused even from a product that is 100% waterproof. Even if it's not breaking down that particular product, it could be breaking something down around it. So tell me what your experience with the moisture is and why you put moisture.
Well,
which is, by the way, not location.
No,
just saying.
No, moisture is everywhere, but especially in the South, we are so humid. And you move closer to the oceans, you've got a lot of moisture there too. And you move up north, you have tons of moisture because you have more snow than anybody else. So everyone has moisture problems. Okay. I don't know if I should say this to where people can hear me, but from the get-go,
I think you should.
I'm going to anyway, but
I think you should.
From the get-go, when someone said floating floors, I said, this is the worst idea ever. Like, if I'm walking on something, I need it to be stuck down. Okay. I don't even like rugs without mats under them because that just doesn't make sense to me, just because of the sheer strength of things. And it never made sense to me. Are they horrible products? Absolutely not. There is definitely a need for them. Do they need to go in everyone's home? Absolutely not. There's particular situations that they do need to be used in for sure. Okay. If you have floating floors, you do not have a bad product. They are made very well. That is not what I'm saying at all.
Mm-hmm.
What I do not like, and I would fight anybody for this, is they advertise them as waterproof. And they are waterproof. If you drop water on them, that water is going to sit there. Absolutely. Well, LeAnn, that sounds like a wonderful floor. Okay, well, great. Yeah, okay, whatever. So does tile. Water sits on tile too, okay? But it's the water underneath. Everyone has moisture in their slab, period. I mean, you just can't get away from it. We all, because there's always water. Yes, pervious. Okay, I get so worked up over this issue, I swear.
I like it. Get fired up.
Molecules of water are magnetic. So if you have one, you're going to have thousands. The problem is that moisture comes up through the slab. Where is it going to go? If you've sealed off the top completely with these waterproof floorings, then it is going to grow mold because it is constantly being fed, and it's staying underneath there to where it really can't breathe. So it's just growing on itself constantly. And you pull these floors up and you got a mold problem now. That's just the way it's going to be unless you live in a perfect house with no moisture. Then I want to know where you live because I'm moving. But yeah, so that is the only problem. Now, you go in with a moisture mitigation system and you put that down to where that moisture cannot seep up through that slab, then you are good as gold to put those floating systems down. But until you do that, I mean, if you think that you're just going to plop it down and everything's going to be hunky-dory, you're wrong. You are wrong.
So you're selling a lot of this stuff. How are you and your team, how do they deal with, again, back to customer expectations? People see these floors, they go to the big box stores, everybody's buying luxury vinyl plank. It looks like wood. It's beautiful. It's waterproof, yada, yada, yada. And that there's still, some potential issues that could arise from it. So how do you navigate that with your customers and clients?
Well, thank goodness the manufacturers mostly all of them are getting on this bandwagon of saying you got to put your visqueen down, or your plastics down first. That's great, but you still have an issue under the plastic. Okay, so you've got to think further on down for your homeowners. If you don't care and you're just trying to make a sale and get this down, and then don't listen to me, because you're not going to like what I have to say. But if you want to do it right, put down a moisture mitigation system. Take the time, roll it on the slab. And so obviously you do want to follow the recommendations from the manufacturers, because they are the people who are making the product. But they are also the people who are marketing these products too. So, double-edged sword there sometimes. But they are recommending to put the visqueen down to protect the back of the product, because what's going on is hydrostatic pressure is coming up through that slab and it's peaking the floating floors. Well, I have a pad attached to the back. Okay, well, does that pad completely cover the seams of every single plank? It doesn't necessarily, not all the time. So one of the best pads is there are pads out there that help with the moisture, like a moisture mitigation pad, and it's best to roll down a pad so that you don't have seam, and you can actually cover all the seams of your floating products as well. You have that option, absolutely. Does that take the place of actually moisture mitigating your slab? No. I mean, it can't. Everyone is trying to do it cheaper, because moisture mitigating a slab is not cheap. It is an expensive process. But what did they say? Like, what's that saying where you have to spend money to
save money? I hadn't heard that before, but we can start a new phrase.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to spend money to save money. Do it right the first time. It will be more expensive, but you're not coming back in 5 years when you have mold, or your tiles are peaking, or your planks are peaking, whatever you want to be technical about it.
So you're educating your territory managers to have these conversations. I assume they're having them then with the dealerships that they're selling the floors to.
Absolutely.
How is that received generally?
The homeowners don't want to spend the money. That's one of the main comebacks to our territory managers. Well, number one, have you asked the homeowner? Like, like the dealers, are y'all educating the homeowner? Because that's where the main problem is that these homeowners are not being educated to what actually is going on in our industry. They are not being educated. And so therefore they are left blindly, and they are just doing what you're recommending because you're supposed to be the expert. But if you are not telling them, number one, the truth about what's going on, then the liability is held on the dealer. So the owners of these dealers, if you are not making your salesman be forthright to the homeowners, then I feel like that's a problem too, because you want honesty.
So how do you guys deal with that? Because I'm assuming some of this comes back to you guys at some point.
Oh, every time I have a claim. I have a claim.
Exactly.
I have a claim.
So then what?
We have to, a lot of our territory managers are getting it on file when they talk to their dealer about it. So either it's an email or a text message, and they're saving that to make sure that they have proof that they spoke to the dealer about needing to prep for moisture. And also
the CYA.
Yeah, right. Yes. Write it off like you signed for it. So, so that's really protecting us too, because the customer is always right. No, they're not, unfortunately. And it's very unfortunate that the distribution centers and the manufacturers these homeowners think that these people are horrible people and that they make shoddy, I don't know if I can guess, shoddy products. When in fact, they were not educated to what actually needed to be done. And the dealer is bashing their vendors.
I really wanted you to say shitty there.
I wanted to too, but listen, I love Jesus, okay? I love him with all my heart. I just cuss a little bit. I didn't know if I should do it. I don't want no children to hear me, so. But so you gotta education, like that is the most important thing. And I will talk your head off as long as you are getting the information that you need and that I'm educating you. I will talk you to your grave. One of my territory managers, he said, "LeAnn, you talk yourself out of a grave." And I was like, okay, I thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, yeah. So it is disheartening for this side of the field because I've been on the retail side
Hmm.
longer than I have been on the manufacturing distribution side. And it is difficult. And by no means have I ever threw a vendor under the bus because that's my livelihood. I've got to turn around and resell that vendor to somebody else or try to sell that same vendor to the same person who has issues. So why would you ever throw the products that you're trying to sell under the vest like that? You're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that. You're cutting your nose off to spite your face, Yeah. So what's some more? No, I'm just joking. But you've got to have those are they difficult conversations? Yes. Are you afraid the homeowner is going to tell you no? Absolutely. Okay. Well, then what do? You get them to sign off on the job. The dealer gets the homeowner to sign off on the job. Manufacturer gets the dealer to sign off. Everyone is covered. Okay. Then because that means everyone was educated. That takes 5 minutes, people. 5 minutes.